A very good evening. It's nice to be here.
We're glad that you could come, so you could clarify on a couple of things. Previously, there was an order, if you like, by UCC, about a SIM card replacement that it was going to take between 5 to 6 days, a procedure which many people found preposterous, and that was amended a bit. It should be less now, but folks were telling us a different story together. In 30 seconds, if you could tell us, what are the requirements for one to replace their SIM card, their lost SIM card?
Excellent. For starters, as a customer, you must have a police letter if you lost your SIM card, and that is only for lost SIM cards. If you haven't lost a SIM card, therefore you just have to have your national ID and you report to an operator. When you go to the operator, you make sure that your national ID is an original ID. Usually people keep photocopies. You need an original ID. At the operator's premises as a customer, that ID will be scanned using an electronic card reader. It's a biometric card reader, and usually it has to indicate a match. So meaning that your ID has an encryption at the back, a 2D encryption, which the card reader decrypts. Then you put your thumb for biometric to get a match. Once that is actually received, the operator will definitely take a picture of you. That is a fresh picture of you. They will take a copy of your card and issue a fresh registration form, and you're good to go. You get a SIM card, easy as that.
In about how long, on average?
Well, we have tried the machines for an individual. It could take you probably, that process, about maybe some 3 minutes or so.
3 minutes or so. There's machines that you people have availed, 50 of them. That's for about 41 million Ugandans. And of course, you're not saying everybody is going to go around losing SIM cards, but does that suffice?
Excellent. We have, that is actually a very welcome development. The machines, the biometric card readers, were issued by NIRA, the National Identification and Regulatory Authority, and this was basically to aid operators to begin the process of replacement. Here we are looking at only replacing SIM cards that are either lost, damaged, or being upgraded. This process is not catering for new SIM cards. And our expectation is that operators should now back that up with their own gadgets, which many we already know have been in transit. Some, of course, have arrived in the country and they're being installed and being tested. Today, as we speak, what we're saying as a regulator is that a biometric card reader for a telecommunication operator is a tool of trade. You either have it or you must have it. So at the end of the day, these 50 biometric card readers are to start off the process just to ease the pressure for those Ugandans who have been stuck because the connection, especially of the IPI, has taken a little longer.
Ibrahim, how do you explain the very many unregistered SIM cards? With every criminality, there will be usage of SIM cards. You can use the most recent case, and really this is not to conjure up unfortunate memories, but in the case of Susan Magara, about 17 SIM cards were used, many of which were not registered, and yet you folks had promised us that you were on top of this. How do you explain the many unregistered SIM cards? For
starters, I would want to assure the country that there are no purely unregistered SIM cards.
What do you mean by purely? I thought it's either registered or not.
Excellent. Every SIM card in the country has a national identification number attached to it. The problem we are dealing with is that we have SIM cards that are genuinely registered but being used by criminal elements, by gangs, by unscrupulous individuals. The system we are putting in place here is to ensure that a person registering for a SIM card is actually the owner of a national ID, probably will be the user, and probably should be accountable for anything that happens on that SIM card. That is why we have actually gone ahead and directed operators to institute a code, the *197#. This code is to help you and me to verify how many numbers are registered under my national identification number. If you see a number you don't understand, that is suspicious, you report it to the operator and it will be switched off.
You're denying, Ibrahim, that there are no what you're calling purely unregistered SIM cards. But you see, in this particular case, police told us that a good number of these SIM cards were actually not registered. So who is telling us the truth?
Actually, well, that could also be hearsay, because it's what happens. For you to know that a number is not registered, you either contact the operator or you contact the Uganda Communications Commission. You and I, as we stood here, you cannot tell, there's no device, there is no way for you to tell that a SIM card is unregistered, because the data on that SIM card is kept with the operator. So all those SIM cards that are purportedly not registered have been brought to the commission. Data has been provided to them, but what we have found is that people were able to use other people's identification to get SIM card unscrupulously.
All right.
But what we can assure the country today, as we speak, as we go into things of financial inclusion, of machine-to-machine communication, digitization, is that the processes we're putting right now will guarantee us a better future for safety for our SIM cards, and also for communication in this country. That's
another promise, Ibrahim. And you folks have made many promises, and we keep waiting, and then the dates come, and they bypass. In 30 seconds, you see, your mandate, Section 51B of the UCC Act talks about your functions, and I'll read it verbatim here. It's to monitor, inspect, license, supervise, control, and regulate communication services. So if you're telling us that people are registering SIM cards in our names without your knowledge, who should be in charge? I thought you should.
Excellent. I think that is a very good question, and it goes back to the Ugandans. We have a process, a guideline that was put for registration, which was good and supposed to be easy. It's the same guideline that we have used in the East African community under the East African Communication Organization, an organization that combines all of us regulators in the East African community. What has happened is that you and me, our brothers and sisters, have become unscrupulous and basically sidestep the process. That is why we have taken it a notch higher and say, other than you using your national identification number and ID, we need to verify that the ID is authentic. We need to verify that your live thumbprint is what is on your national ID, just to tighten that spot and make sure that the right people are using SIM cards. So at the end of the day, the problem is with us. The problem is not with the system.
It's not with you at all.
It is not with the system. The problem is we individuals who are basically unscrupulous or sometimes naive, because I've personally seen vendors using their own SIM cards, their own national IDs to register SIM cards for sale to third parties they do not know, they have never seen, they do not know what they'll be using that. So yes, there's a lot of probably sensitization required for people to know how important a SIM card has become. As we speak today, your SIM card and your bank card are at par.
And I hope my information is safe. Ibrahim Bbosa, thank you for talking to us.
It's a pleasure.
And that was Newsnight.
I've been in Uganda for just over 2 years now, and I absolutely love the country. My frustration, though, and nightmare is driving on the roads of Kampala. Because here everybody just swerves right lane to left lane to right lane, driving in the middle of the road. They're not driving in their lanes, but the bodas pass us on the left-hand side, they pass us on the right-hand side. So you've got to keep looking in all your mirrors to ensure that you don't knock them over. And that's what we suffer from in Kampala. The road infrastructure